Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming to this council meeting Tuesday, January 28th of the City of Sydney City Council, the greatest city in the world. I'll welcome you all and let you know that we are going to abide by the Open Meetings Act, which is posted on the wall back there. And then we have an opportunity for comments by the public. Is there anybody here that wants to get up and talk at the podium, tell us some stuff, tell us about themselves? All right, we will skip on to approval of the January 14th county or city council meetings that most of us were here at. Is there a motion for that to happen?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Coons, motion by Coons, second by Bondegard. Roll call, please.
Kirkman?
Yes.
Coons?
Yes.
Sherman?
Abstain.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
Bondegard?
Yes.
All right, motion passes 4-0 with one abstention. And we are now into number 4, ordinance 1868.
This ordinance is for the annual revisions approved by council for the code book provided through American Legal.
That was very exciting. All right, so obviously this is to put the ordinances in the book that we have already approved. So we probably just need a motion to designate ordinance 1861 if we have one.
So moved?
Excuse me, Ratcliffe, the motion, and
Second.
second by Coons. Roll call, please.
Coons?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
Bondegard?
Yes.
Kirkman?
All right, motion passes 5-0. Clerk, would you please read the title?
An ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinances and repealing ordinances and resolutions in conflict therewith.
Fantastic.
Clear as mud.
I'm assuming
Yeah.
to prevent Kelly from doing this any further, there would be a motion to waive the 3 readings.
Motion. I'll
Motion
second.
by Kirkman, second by Bondegard. Roll call, please.
Sherman?
Yes.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
Bondegard?
Yes.
Kirkman?
Yes.
Coons?
Yes.
All right. Now, perhaps is there a motion to pass ordinance 1868?
I'll move.
Motion by Bondegard,
I'll second.
second by Radcliffe. Roll call, please.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
Bondegard?
Yes.
Kirkman?
Yes.
Coons?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes. Motion passes 5-0 to pass ordinance 68. So, clerk, would you please read the number?
Ordinance number 1868.
Fantastic. Do we have a motion to publish ordinance 1868?
I'll make a motion to publish.
Also.
Motion by Coons, and Bondegard got you just by a second there. Roll call, please.
Bondegard?
Yes.
Kirkman?
Yes.
Coons?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
All right, motion passes 5-0. The most exciting portion of the night is now concluded. And we will get to number 5, Library Board appointments.
Okay, the library consists of 5 members appointed by the city council for 4-year terms. Each member is limited to 2 terms, not including completing a vacated term. And we do have 2 open ones right now. Jane Holchek had served both of her 2 terms on the library board, and Shannon Smell had served 1 term on the library board but did not reapply, so we had 2 open seats. We posted for those positions and got 2 applicants. They are Nancy Sanders and Michaela Newhoffen. Am I saying that right? Okay, I want to make sure I got that right. And I think they're both here tonight, so if either one of you want to step up and say something, you can. But both the library board and I recommend appointing both Michaela Newhoffen and Nancy Sanders to the library, the 2 vacant library board positions.
All right. Are you officially waiving your opportunity to come up here and talk to us? It's not necessary. You don't have to do it. But we do appreciate you coming. We do appreciate your service and your willingness to serve on the library board. So, any questions?
No.
Think I've embarrassed him enough? All right. As we have a motion, we will make a motion to approve both Michaela and Nancy at the same time.
I'll move.
Motion by Bondegard,
Second.
second by Coons. Roll call, please.
Kirkman?
Yes.
Coons?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
Bondegard?
Yes.
All right. Motion passes 5-0. Welcome aboard. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your service.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
And then, Joe, tell us all about the chamber.
I don't know though, you said the first one was the most exciting, so I don't
Well,
do this now.
you know, there's levels, and you're right there. It's close.
So the chamber does have a lot of stuff going on. As of December 31st, our membership was at 249. I, in the last quarter of the year, personally visited over 75% of our members. So a lot of visits there and several non-members as well. So I like to be out talking to people. In case you didn't know, I like to talk. Our web stats are on the report that I gave you, but a little bit of it I'll brag about. 82,400 impressions just for the Chamber's website as a total. So that's a lot of impressions. It's very impressive. On the available properties page, there was 5,040 impressions, and the job posting page, 8,387. So our job posting page is actually getting quite a bit of attention, but it's actually not the most popular page on our website. The calendar page is the most popular right now. So it's definitely serving a good purpose for the community. Also, I wanted to mention, as I had told you guys before, but I have been appointed to the Nebraska Chamber Advocacy Ambassadors Program. Basically what that means, I get to work with Paul. I get to continue to work with Paul. The Nebraska Chamber will keep me informed about what's going on in the legislature. And then if there's something that Paul and I need to talk about, or I need to tell Paul he's voting wrong on or something like that, then I call Paul and we talk, is kind of how it works. So I am excited to work with Paul, but I don't see he's still got a business here. He's still part of this community. And so I don't think he and I will ever disagree on anything. So I think it's going to be a fun thing to do, and just gives us more representation in the legislature. So that's a big thing. We did a couple social hours in the last quarter of the year. On November 12th, we did a social hour at the Rock, and then we did a social hour at the Elks with WNCC and Intern Nebraska. Both of them were attended, not greatly, but they were attended okay, and I think everybody got a lot out of both meetings. So just as a reminder, those every time the chamber does a social hour, those are open to the public. So it's not just chamber members, it's not just anybody, it's everybody can come to those. And you usually get free food, so it's kind of fun to come to. Cheyenne County for a Cause is definitely increasing in numbers some. So we raised $289 in October for Saga. We raised $453 in November for Toys for Tots, and then $308 in December for the Well Church for their bed ministry. And we actually presented that check over there today to them. For January, we're raising money for Way Out West for the Children's Theater. So all great causes. If you don't know about Cheyenne County for a Cause, go to our website, check it out. 100% of the money that we collect goes back to a nonprofit in the Cheyenne County area. We did elect some new board members the last quarter of the year. So Courtney Allington from the hospital is now a board member, Megan Spike from OHD, and then Cooper White from the radio station. Nobody knows Cooper, I'm sure. We had a great meeting of the members. We had a great ambassadors breakfast. Shopshannock County Days was wonderful. What we could track, $180,000 spent locally in our community in those 6 weeks that we looked at it. So that's awesome. If you don't hear it, we had a lot going on the last quarter. Especially December was a very busy month for the chamber. I like it. I like being busy. I also started a new program that I want to invite the entire community to as well. I call it Positively Drinks. And basically every Friday from 7:30 to 8:30, I go to Beans and Steams, and I sit there and wait for anybody to show up that wants to talk positive about the community. So I like to get feedback from people. What do you see that's going on? What's exciting going on in the community? Not just an events type thing, but you know, what's special? I like to hear positive things. I think we all need to talk more positive because negativity is way more contagious than positivity is. And I think there's just way too much negativity in the world today. So I want to spend that little bit of time on Fridays. You don't have to spend the whole hour with me. Just come for 10 minutes and tell me what's going on exciting in your life. So, again, every Friday from 7:30 to 8:30 at the Beans and Steams Coffee House. We are doing our membership renewals right now, so that's taken up a lot of my time in January, actually. That's a lot of work to get with a lot of people and talk about what they want for the next year. So that's happening. Still in progress. About halfway done with that. And then we also did our, I brought the newspaper. We did our annual banquet, just last weekend before last? So that was a big event, and we had 12 different awards we gave out, so I wanted to read these out of the paper real quick. Economic Development Project of the Year went to Adams Industries. The E.K. Yanni Award went to Alicia Julfs. Ralph Olson Board Member of the Year went to Becky Rowan. New Business of the Year went to Elston House. Heroes Among Us was Plains West Casa. Business Revitalization went to Boss City Brewing. Community Leader went to Hunter Arterburn. Chamber Ambassador of the Year went to Michaela Nelson. Outstanding Customer Service went to Modern Moves Dance Studio. And Chamber Supporter of the Year went to Points West Community Bank. And then Community Impact went to Sydney Regional Medical Center. And Citizen of the Year went to Tim Craig. And I wanted to point out that above that on the paper was Jim Peelin stopping here. And so if you didn't get to go to his thing, that was pretty nice to be able to sit with him and voice some concerns about what's going on in our area. And it felt like he listened anyway. So it's always nice to talk to the governor and hear what he's thinking and hear what's going on in his mind and in his world. So that was a good event. We have a lot of stuff coming up too. So our Ag Social is scheduled for March 27th. So if you want to get involved with that, if you want to sponsor it, then that's kind of the stage we're at with it right now. It's just kind of the planning stage. But if you want to be involved, let us know. It's going to be out at Lazy S Ranch this year. Leadership Cheyenne County class is started. It's moving forward. We've got 16 students there. It's going to be a great class this year. Autumn is part of it with me. I get to be in the class as well. So great group of people, and I look forward to whatever our project is going to be and learning more about Cheyenne County through that class. I do have a social hour already planned that will be in Potter on the 20th, I think it is, of February. So there's a social hour planned there, and then I've got a couple more in the works already. Got a couple ribbon cuttings in the works. it's too early to be able to announce who those are with right now. But ton of stuff going on with the chamber, just in case you didn't notice. So,
Yeah.
any questions?
Well, sure.
Sure.
Your advisory board, how many members are on that?
Our board has 12 members.
I'm sorry, the one that you get to talk to Paul about, the chamber.
So the last we met, it's been about 3 weeks ago, I think. There was, 8 people on it so far. They're still looking for people to sit on that board.
And is that region, state?
That's statewide. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's pretty impressive
Yeah.
to be one of.
I think that I'm the only one from the entire Panhandle right now. or at least as of 3 weeks ago, but they're looking for more people to be on it.
Well, if, you know, we were looking for the coolest city in the Panhandle, we're in it, so
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. And then, what did you call the coffee at Beans and Steams?
Positively drinks.
Positively drinks. I love it.
No alcohol. It's too early in the morning.
7. You know, it's a personal choice, I guess. Okay. Well, anybody else have questions?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I sent you an email. I'm a data guy, so I'm looking for trends and trying to figure out, and, you know, obviously for the next time, maybe it's important for people, maybe not, but just generally, like, what you're getting impressions on, so that we kind of get an idea of, like, what people are looking for in the public when they use, like, Google search, and how it's reflecting within your, you know, the search engine, like, you know, like where you're ranked, those kinds of things might be important. But just, you know, the other things are like memberships. Obviously, you're 7 up from the last report, which would have been a quarterly report, right?
Yep.
So I don't know what kind of yearly trends there are there too, if that's going up or if it's going down.
From everything I can tell, it's going up. I've only been with the chamber 5 months, just so you
Right,
know.
right.
So it's hard for me to look back a full year, but from everything I see, it goes up every year.
Okay.
The web stats, most of what what people are searching for when they find our website is not Sydney. Actually, it's normally, I mean, the top ranking is, but out of when you look at the top 5 rankings of searches, most of it's things that are going on in Nebraska. They're looking for Nebraska, not just Sydney.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. When you asked that question, it was interesting to go look at that. We do have, or I do have a project for this year that I'll be working on to enhance our website analytics to just basically to boost our search engine rankings. I think a lot of our search engine rankings right now are basically because Google looks at a Chamber of Commerce before it looks at other things. So it automatically gives a Chamber of Commerce a higher ranking on search engines, or on searches, I mean. So I will be doing some things to boost that even further over the next year. Just a lot of work on the behind the scenes stuff of the website to try to attract more website traffic to that.
Yeah.
Even though we have a ton right now, I think it can be a lot better.
No, I
and
mean,
so-
it looks good. I mean, if
Yeah.
you just type in a search for like Sydney Chamber, like there's another Sydney in Ohio, right?
Right.
That I think is bigger than here, and you're number 1. If you just type in Cheyenne Chamber, it beats out Cheyenne, Wyoming. Like you're number 1 there too.
So we're doing great on that
so
kind of
must be
thing.
something
Yeah.
good.
And I'm personally, I've worked with the Cheyenne, not the Cheyenne County, but the Cheyenne City Chamber, and I know they're doing a lot of great things, and so it's good to hear that you're finding us ahead of them. So, I answered all your questions, right? Kinda. I answered all your questions? Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
No, again, great report, lots of stuff going on. That was a fantastic chamber banquet.
Thank you.
As, you know, we talked a little bit during the thing on how hard it was to come up with who to give the awards to, because there were so many opportunities for each one, a lot of great people and great businesses in town. So
Yeah.
thank you for doing
That
everything you
committee
can to
always
support
has
them.
a hard job to do when they're picking those out. So just remember for next year that we ask for nominations on those. We need a lot more nominations because then it makes the committee's job easier. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Joe. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank-
All right. Casey. Again, just a little bit less than the one, but still.
Council, Casey Cantor, City Transportation Director. We have to start, obviously with working with the FTA, we have to do a couple steps for what we're going for. So this is the first step. With the transportation needs of the public expanding, the city council has approved additional passenger buses that are starting to arrive. This has created a need for more space to house the fleet. I'm requesting the city council's permission to rent additional space to help us with fleet parking. We have 3 buses coming, and one has hit the ground. I don't know if you've seen the big white Ford
Saw
Transit.
yesterday, I think.
We'll need to get those wrapped and stuff like that, so obviously we see them. But when we ordered these buses, it was mostly for replacement and 1 to expand. But with how we're growing right now, I think it's going to be 2 to expand, 1 replace, and possibly within the coming year, probably get another bus in because we are putting a lot of miles on, a lot of passengers and stuff like that. But we picked up the new bus on January 10th. It has the other 2 buses probably coming within the next month. With the fleet growing, we need additional parking for the buses and drivers. We have looked at 2 possible buildings to help house our growing fleet. The 2 options we could find locally that meet the needs are attached. I completely botched that one. The square footage has been seen by the state to review. And here's the big thing is keep in mind the additional cost will be reimbursed by the state and federal government at 90%. So with the 2 that we've looked at, they are both right on Main Street or real close to Main Street within 2 blocks of our main building. And what I had to do with the state is do the square footage, show how much we would use, and then break down the cost percentages between both buildings. And one building came down to 63 cents a square foot, where, well, if you look at that at 90% would be paid for with federal and state money, we'd be paying, 6.3 cents a square foot to rent these spaces. And we have so many vehicles coming in. Our parking lot is very small out there. And also we want to keep our buses indoors. They are investments. Let's keep them covered. We put $6,000 worth of wrap on it to help, control them. Let's not, let the weather beat them up. So that's kind of why we're looking for something more indoors, heated. So when we get there at, 6 o'clock in the morning, they're not cold and, people messing with them and stuff like that. Because we've had one bus there, someone got into the lift door and tried to crawl, but it was too tight of a spot. So, and I don't know, like I said, by the time we get 6 drivers in there, a dispatcher and me, you have 8 vehicles in there, and then you have 6 buses going around. It's just a lot in one little space. So we're hoping to expand. And this will be step 1. You guys hopefully say yes. I'll tell the state that, and then we'll get the lease agreement, and then I'll have to come with a resolution for the lease. So, nothing's ever quick with FTA and me. There's always a bunch of steps. So this is just kind of the first one, but paying 10% for a building to rent out is really nice, and not a lot out of our pocket. So to kind of with that sheet that I handed out to kind of show you why we're expanding and why we're needing these buses and space. You can look at the top and the total boardings in 2011 or 21 and 22, we only had about 12,000. We got up to 16,000. Now we're up to close to 26,000 this year. And so you can see that we're growing. And I'm sure that it'll probably double that almost again with our kids. Our school pickup with the success that we have going on with that, with the good rapport with the schools and stuff like that. I can see that growing next year. And just the way that we are able to conduct business with more buses, more drivers, quicker response times, that keeps people coming back. And that's something that we've been really good to do. And you can see that too with our operating cost for revenue hour. If you look there, the state average is 48.29 cents for their 3-year average. And the national average is $40 per revenue hour, and we're sitting under $30. So the state said we should brag about that because we are doing something right. I don't know what it is. But having the state look at us and point us out to other agencies and say they're able to do this and keep their revenue hours down that low. Obviously we're doing something right, and we want to keep providing that service. And the passenger revenue hours from 3.62, that's probably going to shoot up to well above 4 with the school kids, and then us operating on Saturdays too. So I know the total cost looks a little bit scary, but by the time you get reimbursed, we get our fares in there, everything, you know, comes to a nice, easy wash. So it's really exciting that we've doubled rides about every single year, and we're looking to do that again. So that's why we needed the buses. So do you guys have any questions?
Would they give 90% if we built a building?
Yes. Actually, I think it would be 80%.
80%?
So we have a TDP, which is our 5-year plan that we're coming out with. We are working with the state and Olson to possibly look to what we can either expand our building or possibly build a new facility in the future. And what's really nice about that is 20% that is paid for. So, you know, you look at a number and you say, oh, that's big. We only have to cover 20%. So that'll be probably coming across within the next year or two, knock on wood, with Olson and everyone, you know, hopefully working with us and finding locations and stuff.
Just like buying a building. I mean,
Well, so when Olson came here, we went and toured. They wanted to look at locations. We went and looked at 2 locations, and then we sat down and we have to do a 30-year plan for the FTA. Well, by the time we got done with 30 years, we were looking at possibly up to about 20 buses, and I think, you know, they start talking about, you know, your workers parking and this, and they want about probably 2 to 3, possibly 4 acres that they need. So when we looked at these buildings, they're great for right now, but when FTA gives you these funds, they want it to last, you know, 30 years instead of, you know, 3 years. And if we keep on expanding like we are, you know, that 20 bus bay isn't, you know, that far off, I don't think. So that's why buying was kind of out of it, and so we're starting to look at possible land to build on.
Well, you know, you talk about doing something right. I mean, clearly you are. I know a couple of years ago we switched from having routes to doing the on-call. And you can get a $15 punch card, $1.50 a ride. You can call them up. They'll come get you and take you wherever you want. 25,000 times last year, almost 26,000 times your drivers did that. And you said you have 8 right now?
For drivers?
Drivers.
I have 11 drivers.
11 drivers.
Yes.
And
So we kind of run I have 4 drivers in the morning, and then one goes home in the afternoon, and then I bring on another 3. So at peak hours, we have 6 buses. So last year it says our peak vehicles were 4. This year we're going to be at 6. And we had 205 riders on a day this year. And I think our average has gone up from probably about 160 at the beginning of the school year. We're probably about 175, 180 per day. And the number just keeps growing. So
that's incredible.
yes.
Well, I certainly appreciate everything you're doing there, and sounds like we're on the right track to getting everybody where they want to go. Any other questions for Casey before we potentially make a motion to approve? All right. Well, sounds like that's all the questions we have. Do we have a motion to consider the rental of a big property?
I'll make a motion to consider.
I'll second.
Motion by Kirkman, second by Bondegard. Roll call, please.
Coons,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Bondegard,
Yes.
Kirkman.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks,
Motion
guys.
passes 5-0. Thank you, Casey, for all your hard work keeping this city moving, literally. All right. Now we are to the city manager's report and comments by the city department heads and the city council.
I didn't have a lot this time. Just want to remind those of you who signed up for the fire department volunteer banquet, that's February 1st at 5:30 at the Elks. I think if you haven't signed up, you're probably too late. But Rob is cooking, I believe, aren't you, for this? Okay, so, yeah.
Plenty of time to volunteer to help serve the
Yeah,
meals.
yeah. So you're going to be there?
I will be there.
Yes.
And he will be serving the meal. Brad will be-
Oh, you both will be.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's time. It's time I got my hands dirty. I do something.
And then I did put out the flyer for the City Department Chili Cook-Off, which is February 5th from 11 to 1:30 in the fire hall. So if you want to come by and sample the chilies and vote on which one that you think you like the best, we'd appreciate that. I also got a request from a council member whether the council could participate in the cook-off, and you certainly can. But only one of you, right? You'd be like a department. You have to choose between the 5 of you. Who is the best chili cooker? And then we have lists of rules. Because this thing's intense anymore.
This is what I hear.
Like, we had to like make rules because people thought they were like telling their people the color of the crock pot or something like that. So whoever, if you decide to enter and one of you wants to bring it,
And I heard a rumor that one of the departments actually has their own cook-off to see who gets to represent the department. Is that true?
Yep.
That's gonna be some good chili.
The department employees have their own cook-off to see whose is the best to go to the chili cook-off. Yeah, it's like a regional playoff.
Rule number 3 seems pretty important. Chili must not melt taste buds.
Aw,
It's very strict rules. That's from our HR department there, I'm certain.
So if you guys decide,
All right.
there's the extensive rules that have been created over the years in this very highly competitive cook-off.
Every rule, there's a reason behind it.
There is. And then one last reminder that the next Wednesday, the 12th, is at 4:30 p.m. right here for the planning and training session. So it's the day after the council meeting. I think the council meeting's the first one is 11th in February. So
So we'll get one more reminder then.
get to be here twice. Yeah, the day before though, that would be a little bit short notice. So that's what I thought.
Good enough for me.
I want to say something now.
3-hour deal?
And that's all I had for now, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Kelly, anything you want to tell us?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Kendra?
No, I'm okay as well, thanks.
Sam?
For us, we did receive our 2 new pickups finally after about a year and a half. They'll be hopefully on the road by next week, so we can get all the IT stuff, GPS and all the state. So that's a cool thing for us. Ran about 327 calls in the last 2 weeks, so we're up in that area. Additionally, our new guys that came out of academy recently should be all finishing their field training programs within the next week or 2. So they'll be out on their own and hopefully making impressions.
Very nice. All right, well, thank you. Autumn?
I have 14 views, but I'm thinking 3 of them thought the meeting started at 6.
Oh,
It's been 11, and then it just jumped up to 14 in the last 2 minutes.
well, we can move the meeting back an hour to get 3 more votes. Anything else? All right, Marshall? That is fantastic. Dean? Tom?
Generation plant's moving along pretty quick now. They installed the fuel tanks yesterday. 2 of them, each one is 10,000 gallons of fuel. They've been working inside and outside, and it's moving along okay now.
Excellent. All right. Casey, anything else?
I'm good, thank you.
Brandy, what do you want to brag about?
Corey Well, she's doing pretty good. She's getting out in the public here soon to start doing one-on-one interviews with local businesses for the incentives they've used through the city, so that should be a lot of fun, and we'll see how people think of it, of our incentive program so far.
Yeah.
I think David forgot to mention it, but it was announced that we got that Clean Parks grant.
We did.
We did.
We're done with the CCCFF application, just combing through it. I think David's less off on it before I hit the submit button, and then I'll be working on that Bureau of Land Management grant as well. So fingers crossed we get all of them, that'd be great, but we're gonna keep plugging away at that. That's all.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're glad we're keeping you busy. And again, appreciate we had almost the entire library board and staff here tonight, so that was awesome. Brandon?
nothing.
Burke?
Nothing.
Brett?
Just thanks again for having me. Really appreciate it.
We enjoy having you. You're quite an addition.
I think maybe we're getting a bio on the city, website, and then maybe getting an email out there, so that'll be public.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that is awesome. All right. Well, the one guy that's name doesn't start with B, how you doing?
I am changing my name to Bob. Just like the rest of you guys.
Well, that would be fantastic, because there's nothing better. That's it?
I don't have anything to say tonight.
All right, well, I've got a few things. So again, there is nothing more exciting than lots of stuff going on in Sydney. You may have heard, there's a couple young men that won the city Elks Hoop Shoot, went on to the district Elks Hoop Shoot, and won that, and now February 22nd, they're going to compete in York. We have Kason Miller and Brooks Barons. I can't read without my glasses on. But yeah, those young men did a fine job and are going to continue to represent this city in the Elks Hoop Shoot competition. So congratulations out to them. We talked about that. And then, again, I know I already talked about when Joe was up here, but it's a lot of fun to go to the chamber banquet because of the fact that there's a lot of things going on in Sydney, a lot of people working together, a lot of people improving their businesses, improving what they do, their skill levels, and there wasn't anybody that got an award that people weren't just shaking their heads and going, yeah, that's what we expect. And so it's awful nice to be part of a community where everybody works together. And then back to Governor Pillen, when he was here, he talked about his 4 things: investing in our kids and our future, fiscal responsibility, valuing the agricultural history we have and our values. But the one thing that stuck out with me, the first thing he said was that we have to work together in a respectful way, in a non-emotional manner. And I thought that was very professional of our governor to say that, that's what makes Nebraska the way it is we all get along, we all know what we have to do, and we work well together. And we did mention the Northside Park. So I think with that, I will remind you all that you can reach me at any time at 249-2321 if you have any questions, comments, and can probably read that number, 249-2321, in the meeting minutes, as they will be in there to approve for next month. But with that being said, that is all we have for now, because we are going to close. We are going to enter a closed session meeting, and I am legally required to say, for personnel action, we are going into closed session.
Need a motion.
So we're going to get a motion to go into closed session
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
by Councilman Coons made the motion, and
I'll second.
Bondegard made the second. Roll call, please.
Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Bondegard,
Yes.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons.
All right. So with that being said, we're going to go into closed session at 6:08. And just want to let everybody know that we are intend no action from these. Is that correct?
I don't think that'll be.
So clearly you can't stay here, but you don't have to go home. I think is how you say that.